Hello and welcome to this demonstrational video for the Project Program Manager. This is a spreadsheet which essentially is here to help you project manage projects as far as tasks are concerned and who's doing them. So when you receive it, if you purchase it, your name will your company name will be locked in this cell. If you've downloaded the free trial version, then you'll be able to put your name in, put the project start date and the project end date in. And obviously the further the gap between these two dates, the less stats you'll be able to get on certain sheets. I'll show you that in a second. But the project name as well, we put in the test project. And then when you scroll down, you can input up to 30 people in your personnel department who will be working on the project. And if you wish to have two people working on the project once, you have to make another entry, say here for example, which you'd put in Richard and Colin. If those two are going to be working, you can't have two people working on the same project. If you want to have two, you'd have to make up a separate category for the two people. You can also put in a list of bank holidays. I've just put the ones in that surround these days because they will show up on the schedule as non-working days if you and they won't be counted in to any of the dates between the number of days between two dates if you put all the bank holidays in there for the current year. Essentially anything that's going to be over the project or either side of the project by a few weeks, I would put those dates in because you can, as you'll see, extend the project as you go along. This is a product that's similar to the product that's been used by Skills Hive, which we created for them, and they've endorsed this product for us. If you click on the logo here, you can visit their website, skillshive.com. But anyhow, let's move along. This is the first sheet. Once you've done that setup sheet, you can go on to the first sheet, and I've actually added in a few of the tasks here. The task name, all of this is completed. It gives you the dates of your project, but it also tells you your project duration as well as a task's duration. So if your tasks exceed the project dates, that figure there will be more so than that. So at the moment we're within budget. Everything's working fine, and you can start here your tasks. I've listed a list of tasks. You can give each one a name and a short description for each task as well there. And then when you get here, you select the personnel. So let's start here with actually we'll put in an extra task, task 11. And then if we just obviously type in a description, whatever that might be, it's just for your relevance that you can see what's going on. When you click on that cell, it'll give you a list of all the staff, so you can be able to select the one who's responsible for that particular task. Now this is a proposed start date. This isn't necessarily the day it's going to start, but at the beginning of a project you can do a layout and you can actually do a proposed start date. So let's just put this task date in for today's date as I'm shooting this video is the 10th of February. And let's say that is going to last for 2 days. Now these parent tasks, I'll come back to these in a second. Let's just scroll across and see that task 11 which I've just put in. Task 11 says this figure is taken at the close of play today. So at the close of play today, which is the 10th of Feb, I would have had 10th of Feb and 11th of Feb, which are 2 days. So I should be 50% through the project by the close of play today. And then I'm able to actually put in here and say, well, actually I'm 80% through the project, which it still shows up yellow because it's still within 1 day either side, but as you can see there, I'm a third of a day ahead. If I go here and say actually I'm 100%, whoops, it shows that job, because it's 100%, that job is complete. It still shows a yellow until I put the completed date in. So if I put that date in there, 10th of February completed, it says yes, and it says I'm completed it before the actual time period is up. So sorry, that would be tomorrow. That would be tomorrow. No, that's the 10th. It is the 10th. Sorry, it is the 10th of February, 100%. So if we remove that and remove this again, it says we should be 50% by the close of play today. So that's fine. That's not a problem. Now, the parent task. These parent tasks here, any task that needs to finish before this task can start. So let's just say Richard's tasks. Task number 1 task number 7 have to finish. So if we say actually task number 1 has to finish first, task number 7 has to be finished first because Richard needs to finish those other two. And let's just say this task here of Sarah's, which is task number 8, that also has to finish first because Richard can't do this task until task number 8 is finished. So now, even though you've said that this task can start on the 10th of February, the actual proposed start date is the 19th of February. And the reason for that is because it cannot start before task 1, 7, and 8 are finished. And if we have a look at here, task 1 is due to finish on the 4th of Feb, task 7 is due to finish on the 18th, and task 8 is due to finish on the 18th. So this one can only start on the 19th. So that's what I mean by being reliant. It doesn't matter which date you've put in, it will take the next actual start date where it can, because it needs to be started after task 8. But let's just say, for argument's sake, you get to the 17th of Feb and you realize actually we can start it now because it didn't have to finish task 8, and actually we can start, and we're going to override all dates and start on the 17th of Feb. In this override start date, we can put in the 17th of Feb, and that will change that start date to a definite date on the 17th. So you've got the override option. Otherwise it'll track the other dates and put in the date when it can actually start. So as you can see here, when you can put your date in here in order to show how far you are, which will then weigh up against how far you are and tell you how far you are behind. So this will show up yellow if you're close within a day either way. This will your current task will show up green if you're ahead, and it'll show up red if you're behind. So you'll be able to see there exactly your current task, what status you're in. All yellows mean you're pretty much on target. Greens mean you're ahead of the time. Red means that you're behind. And obviously these are all your completed tasks, and these are all your future tasks that you still have to get to. So that's your task list. This darker brown part is automatically calculated based on the data of the orange, and as you scroll over these, it'll tell you what you need to be able to put into those particular columns. But that is essentially where you capture all of your data. Once you've captured that, we've got all of this for you. This schedule is automatically generated, all of your personnel down the left hand side, all the dates along the top. Now as you can see, you may have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you see you got the 8th twice. This is because the task, there are only a certain number of days here. As you can see in that task list, there are 50 days. So any projects shorter than 50 days will have some duplicate days, and any projects longer than 50 days may not measure each day. It will skip out a few days. But essentially what will happen is these colors down here will fall in line with based on those dates. So you'll be able to see Richard's got a task there, and it actually continues straight into another task. Well, if we had that task, but you basically see which days Richard should be busy, which days Colin should be busy, which days Mark should be busy, and it lays out each of the tasks in line like that per person. So you'll be able to scroll down and see all of your staff members on here. Personnel commitment. This is a list of all of your personnel. You'll be able to see, for argument's sake, each person. So Richard, how many active tasks? None. How many tasks in total? 3. Furthest ahead is 0 because you've got no active ones behind 0, so that's all online. Total days scheduled, 9 days scheduled. Next starting date on the 15th of Feb, and the number of dependent tasks based on his tasks is 3. So you can see each person exactly what's going on. You can see Mark's a little bit behind here and he's furthest behind. But you can see when the next task is due to start, how many active tasks they've got. Now this one here, the 1 day, you can see he doesn't have any active tasks, but that 1 day was one that's already been completed. So you can see there was one task that was behind, but he doesn't have any active tasks, so you don't need to worry about him at the moment. So this is quite handy to get an overview of your staff and exactly how they're performing, when their next scheduled start is, how many active ones they have, and so on and so forth. So then as you can see here, this is a another schedule, but this is based on your personnel. So you're able to select any of the people, and as you select, it changes accordingly. So if we have a look at Richard, who was the person we were looking at, furthest behind 0, next scheduled start, active tasks scheduled, total day scheduled, basically as per the other sheet, but it lays it out for you, so you're able to see all the tasks: task number 1, task number 7, task number 11, when those are due. So you can call up any particular person, see what's going on, where are they at the moment, which task are they busy with. So if you can click through and see Colin, Mark, there you can see Mark on today's date is currently busy with task 3, which means you can go to the task list and have a look at task 3 and see what's happening. So that is quite useful. Also here we've got page 1 and 2. There are only a certain number of lines, so what you can do is you can actually go to page 2 and see the second page of tasks if there were tasks, but there's not enough to fill up page 1, so that's all fine. You can also scroll down and have a look at the task name based on those same numbers. So the first one, task 1, you can have a look and see the details about task 1, scheduled start, finish, scheduled finish, completion, so on and so forth. So you can see exactly what's going on with those tasks from this page. When you just scroll down, you can see what these tasks relate to below, all the details of them. So that's very handy as well. And then the last page is actually just 4 alerts. You've got all your details at the top of the project, but you've got the next 20 scheduled starts, so you can come here and see what are the next 20 tasks that are scheduled to start. Next 20 scheduled finishes, you can see that's today's date, it's in red. There's a task due to finish today, so you can come here and say, okay, what needs to be finished today, chase up those tasks. You've also got 20 tasks that are behind schedule and the top 20 tasks that are on schedule. And again over here, if we scroll across, you can change that to number 2 and see page 2, but it's no need because there is only one page's worth, there's only one entry at the moment. So you can see a list of your 20 tasks that are on schedule. So really that will help you manage your projects. You've got the only data that needs to be captured, I mean, other than changing page numbers and selecting staff over here, all the data that gets changed is all on this page once you've done your initial setup. So everything's just changed on here, and all the other pages follow suit according to what the details that you put in here. And if you come here afterwards and you actually go, well, hold on a second, I've all of a sudden found out that task 3 is dependent on task 2, you can actually just go and change that there, and it will reshuffle everything according. So if that task 3 needs to be pushed back, it'll push back. Whatever tasks are dependent on that will be pushed back even further, and it will actually just reshuffle everything. The only thing it won't reshuffle is if you've put an override start date, because that takes that as law. But if that's a blank, it will reshuffle everything according. So yes, that is quite a useful project tool to have if you are project managers. Just also bear in mind that just because we've made this particular product, I've already made 2 or 3 versions of this specific for clients. So if you think, well, actually this is quite useful, elements of this are useful, but you would like something different, or that it does something more or less, or just does something differently, please don't hesitate to contact me, because we can make, when we actually do make up custom projects for businesses. So if this is something that you like but you want it custom made, please do phone us and make arrangements, because that is something that we'd love to do for you. Yeah, check out follow the link at the end of this video to our website, spreadsheetsolutions.pw, and have a look at the PDF brochure, and you can download a trial version and get hold of us if you think that there's something that we can do for you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.